I'll try.
God damn it.
Is River a boy bard or a lady bard?
Tal. T-A-L.
T-A-L?
Yes.
T-A-L?
Yes.
Tal? Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Paul.
Wait, what?
You got called out by Francis.
I was just wondering if River is a lady bard or a gentleman bard.
Oh, he's a gentleman bard.
Okay.
And he has a John Waters mustache.
Oh, perfect.
Nice. I love it.
All right. So I told everybody your character sheets may not already reflect this, but you get 750 gold to start. So does anybody want to go shopping and see an equipment list and try to pick out some stuff that might be interesting, or are we good to just kind of get into this?
Can we draft first?
You want to draft first? Okay.
Just because if we buy something and then it turns out there's something
It's useless.
Trust
Well,
me, you have enough gold to not worry about that.
What?
Like, trust me, you have enough gold to not worry about that.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Everyone gets 750 GP.
I bought a ton of stuff and I still went up with 216 GP. And I bought a bunch of stuff that is absolutely worthless. Like I paid 100 gold for a magnifying glass because I was like, yeah, I'm an academic who's on a hunt for academic things. I would need a magnifying glass.
That might not be useless. That might be super useful. You're an investigator.
It might be, but I don't intend it to be.
I see.
I think you guys will be fine if you don't buy any equipment. Some things may be a little helpful, but totally not necessary if nobody wants to. But it's just kind of a bonus if anybody wants to,
I'm gonna grab
do
a
that.
shield. I'm pretty sure I can go buy a shield because I don't think I have one to start.
Okay. Just make sure that'll take up one hand, right? So make sure you're not using a two-handed weapon.
That is true, but I'm probably not. The Taro daggers. Yeah, I should be good. I do have proficiency in shields, so.
Not wear armor or use shields made of metal. I forgot about that.
For Hector, I would recommend you buy a spell component pouch. I don't think you get one to start with, but otherwise you'll have trouble casting spells. That's 25 gold.
You have to explain all of that for me. I've never cast a spell before. Like,
Okay.
Why do I need a pouch?
So not all spells, but most spells have material components, and it'll be something like the skin of a snake or something, like some weird component that you have to cast the spell. And if you have a spell component pouch, or you are a caster that has some sort of focus that you, like your wand or something, then we kind of assume you always have the material components.
Oh,
and we
that's
don't
cool.
worry about it.
Cool. All right, I'll do that. I see V verbal, S being like you signal with your hands.
Somatic.
Yeah, somatic, yeah.
And then M is I see a forked twig I need for locate objects.
Does that mean I should get a component pouch too?
You probably already have one listed, but if you don't, buy one. Or you may have a spell focus.
I don't quite know how spell focus works.
It depends on your class. For a wizard or a sorcerer, it would probably be your wand. For a cleric, you might have a holy symbol. That would be like your spellcasting focus, and that's pretty. As I understand it, it's in lieu of like your spell component pouch. It's just you sort of use your focus to focus your ability to cast the spell.
So if I already have something called Druidic Focus, I don't need that components pouch?
That's accurate.
A druidic focus is usually like a totem, like an item. It's not normally a skill.
Yes,
Yeah,
it should be in your equipment.
It is in my equipment. My question is just it just acts any spell focus, all it does is act as a component pouch? What's it?
Focus
Basically,
focus is its own kind of thing, isn't it? Like some spells require a focus.
I just never encountered a spell that did
I
it.
don't. No, I don't think so. But you have to be holding it.
To do something without the. But does it do anything? different than the component?
A focus is another way to satisfy the material component. You need to cast a spell. If a spell needs a material component, you can use your focus instead.
Ah, nice.
Oh, okay.
That's a change
So-
from 3.5 to 5.
So it's not different than a components pouch?
Not really, no.
Okay. All right.
Some spells on your list may require. So for the most part, if you have a spell component pouch or an arcane focus, you're good as far as material components. There are some spells where the components listed have a cost. Like it'll say a pearl worth 100 gold. And if that's the case, then you need to actually have that component in order to cast the spell. You can't assume that you have it in your spell component pouch because it's too expensive. But for the sake of ease, I'm going to give the pure spellcasters, Derek and Paul, an additional 450 gold. And we'll basically say, if you guys get to a spell and it's like, you need this worth 100 GP, just mark that off of your gold that you have, and we'll just say, yeah, you bought that at some point.
Okay.
I'm really scared about how much leeway you're giving us. It's just like it's gonna be that hard. It's like, yeah, let's just say you have it. Now what?
I mean, this is also our first time really playing 5e, right? So,
Yeah, it's part that and part I'm just trying to make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that even in this like apparently like streamlined version of the game, we're still doing a bunch of stuff like, fuck that, it's not worth tracking.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I would track components if were playing an actual campaign. Like you'd have to be going into towns and buying this stuff, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. And then I'll also give everybody an ever-burning torch,
okay. Cool.
which is like a normal torch, except it never goes out.
Oh, I know all about ever burning torches, all right? It's necessary to my life.
Mm.
Unlike you people with dark vision.
And then I'm also going to give each of you, this is not part of the draft, I'm going to give you a couple of healing potions.
How
Oh,
many
cool.
is a couple?
You're going to get 2 greater healing potions.
Nice.
A greater healing potion restores 4d4 plus 4 health.
Wow. Actually, I guess I don't know if
How do I
that's.
write that down?
Write this down.
I don't know how. There's like not enough space.
Yeah, I put mine in other notes.
Yeah, you might
Oh,
have
yeah,
to.
put mine in worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah.
Word.
The Mythweaver sheets are pretty decent, but sort of annoyingly constraining at a certain point.
Mhm.
And then, so that's 2 greater healing potions. I'm also going to give you 4 common healing potions.
Are those the same ones that are in the Player's Handbook?
Probably. It's 2d4 plus 2 for those.
Because I already bought 2 of those, and so I just
Now you have 6.
that's okay. I want to make sure that I should combine them, or
Yep,
if
that's
I
fine.
need to keep them separate for some reason because they don't do the same thing.
I would assume the one, if it says 2d4 plus 2, then that is the right one. And I'm sure the one in the equipment table or whatever is probably the common one.
2d4 plus 2.
Yep. Okay. And then
2 greater and 4 common.
correct. And then I'm just going to repeat my warning, just so we're all kind of in the spirit of this, that this is a dungeon and it's pretty dangerous. Characters may die. There are some parts where whoever created this dungeon is just a dick. Like, it's not, something may happen and you don't get a save unless you kind of saw it coming. So just be aware of that. And it's going to be a mix of, there is some combat and then there's a lot of traps. So it's kind of a mixed bag. And
You're
then
gonna die. I've got grappling hooks.
Can you take my corpse back to my family?
30 feet of chain.
okay.
The book I wrote.
Do you guys want me to pick up any items? Because I'm not. Like, I don't want to sweat that stuff currently, but at the same time, like, it's important to the group. So if you like bought basically a bunch of items, Francis, is kind of.
I went hella shopping, but I did not go min-max shopping. I only bought stuff that I thought you might take with you if you were going on an archaeological expedition.
I see.
So, like,
Okay.
I bought ball bearings, a bedroll, block and tackle, 30 feet of chain, a couple of grappling hooks, a magnifying glass, parchment, some potions of healing, a silk rope, and a whetstone.
Okay.
So, like, if you think we need a portable ram, for instance, that's on you to buy. I did not think a portable ram made sense in the hands of an archaeologist
That's fair. That's fair.
or of an academic.
You know what? I'm just kind of a healer person, so it's probably just going to be like a few more health kits or something in case I'm out of spells. Maybe some like extra ration.
You can do that while we're drafting, right? Like, it's not like we're going to start right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for the magical item draft, I like everybody to roll a d20.
13.
18.
18.
10.
Okay, the two 18s do a roll off, another d20.
16.
12.
All right.
Okay, so that was Francis, then Paul,
Then Derek, then Hector, I think.
Then
Yeah,
Derek,
yeah.
then Hector.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're gonna go in that order, and then the second round we'll go reverse order. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, snake draft.
Yep. So I will put the list of items in Slack.
Oh, movable rods are so cool.
I don't understand what most of these are. It's great.
Yeah, so I should ask, is everybody, the spellcasters in particular, have you found a place to like look up 5e spells online, or like Roll20 is pretty good. I can give you a page to like
I
search
ended
for
up-
things.
I ended up buying a 5e book because I think I'm running a game in Ravnica.
What does a sword of sharpness do?
A sword of sharpness.
It's sort of sharp.
God damn! I can't believe that. Damn.
We should tell Jeff about that.
If you Google the name of the item 5e, you'll roll
Okay.
something on Roll20 will probably be the first.
All right, give me just a
result.
sec.
Can I do anything with this whetstone? Do you know? That I bought. There's no entry for
I'd
it in
have
the
to-
player's
I'd-
handbook.
I'd have to look up what
Okay.
that does.
I'm okay with the answer being no. I bought it because I thought it made sense with the character. Ring of Protection sounds like a good idea.
You can sharpen your weapons with it, it looks like.
Unfortunately, my next question is, what does it mean to have my weapon sharpened?
A whetstone will grant that item a non-magical +1 bonus to attack for the next 8 hours,
Yeah, that's
And-
nice.
and 1 hour less per every battle.
Okay. And does
You
that
can't-
stack with the +1-ness of a magic weapon?
I would say yes. You can't like use the whetstone twice, but you can stack
Oh, whetstones are consumable. Okay, good to know.
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Some of this stuff is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm strongly considering the Ring of Protection.
I haven't even seen that yet. It sounded like something I want, but I just looked up.
+1 to AC and saving throws.
Did what?
+1 to AC and saving throws.
That's pretty good. I was looking at Belt of Dwarven Kind.
What does that do?
Your Constitution score increases by 2. You have advantage on Charisma Persuasion checks when talking to dwarves. You have a 50% chance each day at dawn of growing a full beard if you're capable of growing one, or
Nice.
complete with your beard if you already have one. If you have, and if I'm not a dwarf, which I'm not, you have advantage on saving throws against poison, resistance against poison damage, dark vision, speak, read, and write dwarvish.
Wow.
Is that right? Like, how come? That's a lot of stuff, right?
It's like the foreigner belt from Aqua Teen Hunger
Yeah.
Force.
So with
These
the
are a
winged,
lot of like super rare magic items that I'm giving you guys.
yeah, I've got eyes the size of dinner plates right now. The winged boot, in 5th edition, does flight have like levels?
No, I'm not familiar with that. Being a
Okay,
rule.
so in 3.5 you have like clumsy and like agile and perfect flight, and like clumsy flight is like, oh, you have to like you like define turning radiuses and like minimum speeds and stuff, and then like perfect flight is like it's total control of yourself in the air.
No, it's pretty much this just gives you a fly speed equal to your walking speed.
Cool. So it's basically perfect flight. I just move at will in any direction.
Yes. I would say like you're not flying at will. Like it's it can be a free action to start flying, but you have to tell me that you're flying. If you're walking
Right.
around, you're not just automatically hovering above the ground.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. You said you do have to push off the ground though.
You don't have to. You don't have to push off the ground. I don't think.
Okay, so if we were to say walk over some kind of trap, like a pitfall, could I activate the boots in response to the trap after, like at some point down the fall?
If you are falling far enough, but you'd have to fall really far. I believe
Okay.
the standard way the rules interpreted in 5e is that you fall like 500 feet around. Like it's basically as if
Whoa.
you take the fall damage
Okay.
instantaneously. If you were falling from like there's
You
no
know.
airplanes, but like really high up, I
Or
would
like
say
an infinite pit or something? Okay,
you have a couple of rounds, maybe, or at least one round to do something. But
cast feather fall or something.
sure, but you're not going to get a reaction if it's like a 10-foot pit or something.
Jesus, the sword of sharpness. That's hardcore. Always maximize your weapon damage.
I think that's only to objects, or is it to?
Yeah, sorry.
creatures
Always
too?
always max your weapon damage with an object.
Yeah.
Critical hits do an extra 46 slashing damage. and you get to roll another d20. And if you get a 20 on that, it chops off one of their limbs. Jeez. And you can shed light. Good lord.
All right. You only get 2 of these things, so.
I know. That's why I want to know what they all do.
That's fun that you
Okay, I
give
need
us.
to grab my laundry out of the laundry room, but I know what I want. If should I just like say it and Francis?
Yeah, you
you'll
can take
decide?
first pick. That's fine. I'll come up with second pick. I'm pretty sure you're not
Okay,
going to take one of the ones that I want.
cloak. I want the cloak of displacement.
Okay. So I will take that off the list.
Yeah, edit that list. Cross it out. Do the squiggly line thing.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's
Any creature that attacks you has disadvantage. That's pretty cool.
So even on insulting, like I want to insult you, I'm at a disadvantage.
I mean, kind of.
I mean, if you strike from my heart, like it's not really, or my ego. I don't think you have disadvantage.
Dark vision. That's cool. We have 2 humans.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
I'm an elf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still reading about all the items.
Some of them are like the immovable rod is such a cool item that I wanted in our game, but also
Yeah, like
I gotta
want,
take the ring of protection. I just got to.
Hmm.
Okay, so Francis, you're taking the Ring of Protection.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
+1 AC, right?
What's that?
+1 AC. That's what that does.
And a +1 to saving throws.
Oh, okay.
You know, to avoid a trap.
Or whatever.
Do we have anyone in the party with strength? I kind of wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't mind doing that. Giant strength.
Do we have a stir build? Yeah, that's a good question.
Like I kind of want to. Yeah, I'll try that. Screw it. I'll do Belt of Dwarvenkind first. I'm gonna do that. Actually, I haven't. Let me look up the border Elvenkind first. I haven't seen that one.
Does the Belt of Dwarvenkind give you dark vision?
Yes, it does.
Ooh, how convenient.
I know.
If you do that, and Paul takes the goggles of night, we have a whole dark vision party. Oh wait, no, you're a half elf, aren't you, Hector?
I thought it was an elf. No? Elf wood elf.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
do you have dark
you're a
vision?
full elf.
Yeah.
Do you have dark vision?
I assumed so. Yes, dark
He's
vision,
an
60
elf, then
feet.
yes, he does.
I didn't want to assume that because 3/5 elves have dark vision, 5e elves have dark vision.
It's true.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking dwarven.
The Belt of Dwarvenkind.
Yes, Belt of Dwarvenkind. Yes,
All right.
that shit's ridiculous and cool. I didn't end up reading all of them, but I read most of them. So
Dude, I'm not
sorry. Go.
I'm not even through the whole list yet.
And Hector, you get to pick 2 in a row.
Yeah.
Sorry, take your time, dude.
Just so you guys know, I have reincarnate
Okay, good.
like as a spell. I don't have it prepared, but it's an interesting spell.
How long can you be dead and still be reincarnated?
I think 10 days.
Oh, okay, good. So you don't have to have it prepared.
Yep.
Same thing for Raised Dead. Roll of Raised Dead. Within 10 days.
If what?
It's the same time limit for Scroll of Raised Dead. It has to be within 10 days.
Oh, interesting.
Just be aware for the spell scrolls, they have to be on your class's spell list, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I might pick closer to character.
What's your character?
He's a wood elf, outlander, background. Just goes around tracking shit. You know me.
Fair enough. I got a question. Probably, I have a guess to the answer, but I can't wear 2 belts, can I?
No, you
You
cannot.
can sure try.
It never stopped Jack Sparrow.
This is
It's true.
I gotta tell you, Chris, that is the number one line for any DM ever. You can sure
You can
try.
say- you can- yeah.
All right, I'm almost done reading through all of them. I'm at boots of speed. Oh wait, no, I've already looked at that. Scroll of Dimension Door.
Dimension Door is a cool spell.
I'm not sure if that's on a ranger spell list though. FYI.
that's true.
man. Okay,
Oh shoot! I didn't see this. Requires attunement. What is that?
Presumably, we have attunement with all of these, right?
Yeah, there's a limit on how many items you can attune to, but you're not going to hit that with only 2 items. And you can't have like 2 pairs of boots. You can't have 2 belts.
You can have 2 rings, though, right?
You can, yeah.
One on each hand.
Yes.
I believe that's the limit, though, generally.
Okay.
I think that's right.
okay. I really. Oh man, that's not gonna be useful. I want to go for portable hole.
Portable holes are so legit.
Yeah. So it just needs to be on a solid surface, and then it's a. What was the space dimension inside? It's like not that big.
I think it's 5 feet deep and 10 feet across.
10 feet. Yeah, it just says 10 feet deep.
Okay.
But the hole itself is like 6 feet in diameter.
Okay, 10 feet deep and 6 feet across.
Oh, okay, that's the cylinder. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I'll go for portable hole. It's funny that you gave us both that in the bag of holding in this list because, has anyone
I
read?
put my portable hole in my bag of holding.
You know what happens though, right?
I think there are rules for what happens with that.
Any
Yes,
creature within
yeah.
10 feet of the gate that is created from it is sucked through and is deposited in a random location on the astral plane. The gate then closes. It's a one-way and can't be reopened.
Yep. So you, definitely. Whoever was putting the portable hole in the bag of holding. Definitely now on the astral plane somewhere.
Is the portable hole like can I damage it? Because it's describing it as like a cloth.
It's magical.
So this is what I imagine if someone got the bag of holding, threw it in the air, an archer wraps the bag of holding cloth onto an arrow and shoots it so it tries to make it into the bag of holding
Sure.
to create an interdimensional one-way portal and suck whatever creature.
Why?
Bro, I don't know, man. You never know. Okay, I'll do portable hole, so you can cross that one off the list. And since I get to pick again, I don't know. I'm more of an archer person, so I wouldn't do well with the shield. Anyone has any suggestions? I was looking at the boots of speed, and that's it.
What's Ring of Jumping? I don't know what the jump spell is, but
I don't
you
either.
can
You can look that up separately. You Google
The
like
movable rods
5e
are
jump.
awesome.
the jump distance is tripled.
Okay, I'll take a movable rod. I'm convinced because of the Simpsons
So
episode.
cool.
All right.
It's 8,000 pounds, was it? They can hold up.
Yeah.
That's.
But like I find removable rods are cooler for pinning things down.
I like where you're going with this.
Like, immovable rods are fucking sweet. They are the coolest thing.
All right. It is Derek that's next. Yeah.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ring store the ring of spell storing.
Yep.
Can I store a spell and then give that ring to somebody else?
That's a good question. Probably not. Let me read the description.
Because like I would load that with heal spells and just give it to Francis's rogue. Self-target.
Yo,
Right?
unreal.
Right.
Yeah, so it requires attunement.
That's a good question. Let me check.
Okay. Any creature can cast a spell into the ring by touching the ring as the spell.
It does say
Cast-
attunement.
Yeah, I
Cast
think
a spell of 1st through 5th level into the ring by touching the ring. The spell has no effect.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can. So yeah, you can give it to somebody else, and then
Well, it sounds like you can give it to somebody else, but they then need to be attuned to it.
yes. So you couldn't just hand it to somebody and then they can immediately use it. The person would have to attune to it.
How long does attunement take? A day?
I believe it's a short rest. You have to spend a short rest with it, like cuddling with it, basically, and you become attuned to it.
Okay, and then is attunement like last forever or? Is it-
No,
Yes.
only
Well,
one person can be attuned to an option at a time.
right.
Okay, so I can store the spell. It'll still be stored, and then I just give it to Francis.
Yeah, but otherwise, I could just take that as my item at the end of this draft, and then also, Hector, I'm surprised you didn't take the +1 armor, just for the record. And then I can just ask you guys to cast rings into my spell, or cast spells into my ring,
Oh yeah,
which I hadn't thought about until just now.
yeah. I don't even. You're right. I don't even have to wear the ring. I just have to. Cast.
I can just hold it, be attuned to it, and be like, "Hey, that's a really useful spell. Would you mind doing a casting before we go to bed into my ring?" Like,
Yep.
Okay,
You can do that.
that goes back into what the fuck I need then. What was ball? Let me look up bag of holding again. God damn, there's so much.
bag of holding is a really big bag in a really small bag. That's all it is. It's a really big bag inside of a really small bag.
You can
Okay.
carry like a lot of shit.
But don't put the portable hole in there,
Yes.
because you will regret that shit.
I guess Sword of Sharpness isn't terrible. What's my strength?
Oh, right. What kind of sword is the Sword of Sharpness?
I'll be right back. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I get a -1. Ooh.
Also, can you use the Sword of Sharpness as a druid?
My understanding was that I can use weapons. I just don't get the proficiency for it, which is actually a big deal. Like,
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't get the +4. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but I thought I can use it. I just don't get the +4, and I obviously get my strength modifier -1, which is awful for this weapon. So, plus it provides light, and if we really all get dark vision, I think I might just have to get the +1 shield. If you sure you want the ring then? I don't mind taking the ring if you prefer something else on it. Like, there's nothing here I'm particularly attached to.
I mean, I was thinking about the +1 armor as well, just to give me that a little bit extra. What are you guys' ACs? Let's compare ACs.
17.
I
my
have 17.
My
Dia's
AC,
also 17.
my AC is 13.
Jesus, take a +1 armor, man.
I mean, I have a decent amount of health and healing, but yeah, all right, that's fair. I'll take the.
How is your AC 13, by the by?
I don't know. It just says it is armor class 13.
You're
I-
apparently getting 11 plus your dex, I assume.
Let's see what armor does he have? He has leather armor. Which
Yeah, that should be
is...
Okay,
Yeah.
leather armor. Right.
That's probably why.
Where did you? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just get a +1 shield, right? Like that's because
Yeah.
that would be 3, right? So that would bring me up to 16. Because I haven't bought a shield yet. So yeah, I'll grab.
Presuming that your weapon is one-handed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got daggers and scimitars, and I'm not really the damage dealer here. So
So druids can't wear metal armor, Chris, but they can use metal weapons.
why do I have a
Um,
scimitar and 2 daggers?
Because in 3.5 they can't use metal of any kind.
I don't
That's-
think that's
that's
a
why-
rule.
That's why Darkwood is so big in 3.5. It turns your druids into fighters. But if it's not a rule, it's not a rule. I don't know anything about the rules except what I've read.
I mean, to be honest, like I don't plan to really use melee weapons. The shield can be wood. I could probably just pick up a club somewhere along the way. But does that mean I can't use a crowbar or batons or hammer? Like,
You can use metal weapons and tools as a druid.
Okay.
That doesn't appear to be a rule in 5e. Just
Good,
the
that's
metal,
awesome.
metal armor, and metal shields are
I
restricted.
do remember mentions of armor and shields, but not.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for you.
All right, so I'm at 16 armor class. I feel a little better about that.
So
Yeah.
you took the +1 shield.
yeah, I took +1.
Okay. And then
Paul?
Paul is next.
Well, yeah. Francis, if you're gonna take that ring,
That is my
was
current
sort of
plan.
the only- Yeah. So then, I guess I'm gonna take those goggles of night because I think I'm the only one who doesn't have dark vision, right?
Well, after I grabbed the belt of dwarven kind, that was true, and now it's not anymore. So
Dark Vision Party!
Mhm.
plus I can grow beards.
All
It's
right.
truly a fantasy game.
And yeah, I'm going to take the Ring of Spell Storing.
Okay.
Apparently, I am the kind of academic who just loves jewelry.
Yep. So you have 2 rings, is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
one on each hand.
Okay. Yeah. So then with that taken care of,
When I acquire this ring, does it have any spells stored in it?
no.
That's fine.
I'm going to store. Oh, that's a level 5 spell. I can't do that right now. Well, you can tell me what you want to reinstore for me to, or for anyone to store. But
Yeah,
I have.
around.
I like to think that the ring was left to you by your great aunt, and it was given to you with the spell to bake like the perfect pecan pie, but you've already used all of them.
Yep, exactly. It had 5 counts of the level 1 spell, Bake Pecan Pie. I agree. And I've used them all because I love pecan pie. That's going in my character traits.
Nice. Yeah, reinstart is a level
Character
5.
flaw.
Yeah, character traits, loves pecan pie. Character flaws, does not have the self-control not to bake himself 5 pecan pies at a time.
Okay. So then I believe talking to Francis before on Slack, he had said that his character is a bit of an academic and had done some research into the legend of the tomb. Does anybody else have it in their background that they may have been? This is just flavor mostly, but does anybody know their character well enough to think they may have found some of this information out? So I will tell you what. So what Francis's character's been able to find out, or Oren has been able to find out, is that The tomb, as far as you know, the legends speak of it being located under a hill, and that it is filled with both terrible traps and not a few strange and ferocious monsters. And it's also filled with rich treasures, both precious and magical. But in addition to the monsters that guard the tomb, there is also said to be a demi-lich that wards the tomb. The demi-lich is named Acerarak, and he is rumored to possess powers that make him nearly undefeatable. And he's spoken of in the material that you've been able to uncover in your research as being a demi-lich, but you've never heard of a demi-lich before. You don't know what that is. What is that in relation to a lich? You have no idea. You haven't been able to find any information about that.
What do I know about a Acerarak? Was he like a person before he was a demi-lich? Like, do we know anything about his pre-Tomb of Horrors existence?
You haven't been able to find anything about that.
Okay.
You just know he's supposed to be this really powerful demi-lich. And that this tomb is supposed to be his haunt or his final resting place in some form. And that you've also found that the tomb is filled with many passages and rooms, and they're fraught with traps. And it's also said that the demi-lich has hidden his lair so well within the tomb that even if you manage to avoid most of the traps, you may not find your ultimate goal.
So as a druid, can I have like knowledge of the local landscape, I guess? If I guess there's different terrains in this weird, crazy dungeon, but what do I know? Surrounding area, maybe?
You might know the surrounding. You might know the surrounding area.
Can I give you the flavor that I wrote down?
Sure.
In my description, and we can see how much of this matches and doesn't. Okay, so as a child, he grew fascinated by stories of the tomb. Even when other children grew out of true belief, his fascination never faded. He even taught himself Madani and Datarig to read the accounts of the peoples who actually lived in the Anarak, which is that desert you sent me the link to. Yeah. So if you're okay, we'll set it there, I guess.
Yeah.
In academic circles, I was always the subject of a little gossip because I always talked about the tomb like it really existed. I found a map showing the tomb's location, but I think that's going to have to change.
I would say maybe the rough location where it is. You don't necessarily know. You don't have a map that says X marks the spot, but you kind of know what you're looking for.
Yeah, I was thinking it'd be like a very ancient map that's like the tomb is in this like area, but doesn't like actually like put an X on the map.
Yeah, you'll know it's supposed to be located under a hill, and that it is within this desert. Yeah,
I'll change it to a record. A record describing the tomb's location.
Does anybody else have any flavor or background as to why their character is seeking the Tomb of Horrors? If you want to just be a rando adventurer, that is fine. But
I feel like I'll just be like either hired or like asked for a guide to the area, just because I might know the local landscape. But
yeah, so I do have a little bit of flavor on one other academic opinion on the myth. My like academic rival, his thesis is that the tomb myth is actually a retelling of a Netherese myth in which a musician has to go down to the domain of Jurgle, who is the Netherese god of death, and retrieve his wife. This academic is like, obviously the demi-lich is a stand-in for this god of death. Like, that's why it can't really exist. Like, it's just a retelling of this other myth.
Okay.
I was performing at a local bar, and my Francis's character was overheard talking about this tomb, and everyone was sort of making fun of him behind his back. And I lost a bet, and that's why I have to go and see if it's actually real.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
I guess my character is trying to delete the data that's on a server rack, and because there's too much compromising data on that server rack, and that's why I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
All right. Is anybody willing to have something in your motivation for seeking the tomb that maybe gives your character some sense of urgency for why we have to find the tomb and why we have to find the Sararak's lair and get through it a little bit more quickly?
Oh, I've been drummed out of academic circles. Like, I've lost my job because I found this record that was like, I actually wrote this down already. Like, when he finally stumbled upon what he believed to be a record describing the tomb's location, people thought he had finally lost it. When he started telling people that liches could use their dark magic to begin to ascend to godhood, this is his incorrect opinion on what a demi-lich is, people became sure of it. And we began advancing the theory that this is exactly what happened in the tomb. He was drummed out of academic circles entirely. So, like, my whole life has been torn apart. And so I have set out to find the tomb specifically to document the demi-lich and, like, prove to everyone that I was right the whole time.
So, and you've hired, it sounds like you've hired Tal and Diaz to go with you, and then River's just sort of a tag along. Yeah.
River lost a bet.
Okay.
If people have
but
ever,
I'm not letting you know that I volunteered my services to you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that you're inspired by, like, the story, and you believe me. Do any of you believe me?
so I'd be willing to believe you if people like unheard of before have been to the tomb. Like, I might have guided them and they just ended up dying or something. Like, if that's a thing that could occur. I don't know anything about the lore of the tomb. Like, past explorers, right? Like, I don't know if we're gonna find dead corpses in there.
I want to get through the tomb quickly, though, because my friends and I are supposed to get together and, like, go on a road trip and go see this, like, new singer Bork perform somewhere. So I'm, like,
Crossover. Yes.
That was so 3.5 ago. God.
Concert's located in an alternate dimension. All right. So then we'll.
Sorry, Francis has a good idea. I'm gonna get a drink also.
Okay. I will wait a minute then.
I'm really excited. I can't wait to have this character die.
So I have, if you want, I can always reincarnate you, but I can also store, because it's a level 5 spell, 1 reincarnate spell into your ring as well.
Yeah, but how would that be useful to me?
No, that wouldn't be useful to you. That's why I wouldn't actually recommend it. Most of it would be the self-heal spells. Like, I probably have stuff like Stone Skin or things like that. I'd have to prepare it, but you could probably just look up druid spells if you were interested.
Yeah, I will be looking through all of your spell lists and finding spells that I think are cool.
Yeah, because I think druids learn everything that they have. Is that correct? I don't.
You get your whole list, but you have to have certain spells prepared.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a given day, I'm pretty sure.
But what I mean is, I don't learn it like with wizards and sorcerers, right? It's like my Dread Necromancer in 3.5e. Like, I just get everything on my list.
Yeah, you get everything. Like, once you can cast level 3 spells, you get everything on the druid level 3 list.
Yeah.
River, what's your instrument?
I have an oboe, a shamisen, and a pitch pipe.
Nice,
Right.
right, yes. I recall that now.
I tend to favor the pitch pipe and just like do a pitch pipe and like a little limericky song quickly.
Mm.
But for full performances, I switch in between the three.
Sure, that makes sense. Ooh,
Also,
River,
the-
you know
the-
Dimension Door.
reckon thing.
Dimension Door is a sweet spell.
I know Dimension Door.
No, but River does.
Oh, right. Bards know a lot, right? They have a lot of freebie spells, right? Like any cross schools.
He's College of Lore, which gives him the ability to, I forget the specifics, but he can select a couple of spells from another class's spell list.
Derek, you know Gaius? I love that spell.
Did you say I
Always
know?
wanted to use it.
Oh, Gaius.
Geas.
What is
I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. I've only ever seen it written down.
So currently my level 5 spells are reserved for healing, but what is that? I don't actually know what it does.
It gives you, or it implants a quest on somebody, basically.
A quest?
Yeah.
Do they gain
You
experience?
place a magical command on a creature that you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity as you decide.
Oh, that sounds like it's supposed to be thematic with creatures.
Yeah. You can issue any command that you choose, short of an activity that would result in certain death.
All right. Everybody has drinks and everything they need.
Yep.
All right. So your characters have arrived at a spot in the desert where you believe the tomb may be located. And you see before you a low, flat-topped hill. It's about 200 yards wide, 300 yards long, and about 60 feet high. And what you notice is that it is pretty much the only landmark within miles. It's just sort of standing alone. And that the only vegetation that's growing on the top of the hill is just ugly weeds, thorns, and briars that are sort of growing up the side. And any vegetation that is in sort of the surrounding area within a certain distance of the hill itself, it appears to just start dying out. And it's just almost completely barren on the hill other than a few weeds and thorns. So this looks to you like it might be the place. And for the sake of orienting us, we'll say that you're all standing on what is the south side of the hill.
Okay.
And you are the only thing you notice about the hill, other than what I've already mentioned, is that there appear to be some black rocks positioned. It looks randomly to you across the top, along the face of the hill or the part of the hill that's facing you, that's kind of sloping upward. So what do you do?
Look around for any small creatures.
You don't really see any in the immediate area. They seem to be avoiding this area for some reason.
How far off is the hill?
I'll say about 100 feet from it.
I start idly playing a song. We traveled so far, we sweat in our socks, and all that we found was a bunch of black rocks.
How many rocks are there?
No one. A bunch.
Let's see. From this distance, you can't. You're too far away to kind of get it a good idea. Like some of them are kind of blocking it from the perspective that you're at. So it's maybe it's about a dozen, but it's hard to tell from this distance.
Okay. I'd like to cautiously approach the hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've read a lot about like there being a lot of traps, and I figured the biggest, baddest traps are the ones meant to keep you from getting in the first place. So I'm looking out for tripwires and especially like hidden in the shrubs and in the brush, like looking out for anything that might be like a rune or a trigger for a trap or something like that. Maybe like an outline for a pressure plate or something like that.
And so you're about 100 feet now when you started. How close to the hill are you getting, and how are you approaching it?
Well, so I'm on foot.
Yep.
I'm walking. Certainly not running, and not crawling across the ground inch by inch, checking for traps. But I am like, I'm walking deliberately, like with each step I take, I try and like make sure that the footing is relatively sound.
Right.
But like I'm not like tapping in front of myself, right? I'm just sort of like when you're walking on ice, right? You just sort of like walk as deliberately as you can so that you don't lose your balance or anything. And I'm looking around. I'm especially interested in these black rocks. I think they might be the key, but I'd like to get to like within 20 feet of the beginning of the slope.
20 feet in front of the slope. Okay. So as you're walking, give me a perception check if you're looking for these tripwires or pressure plates.
Perception of 16.
Okay, you're not seeing anything as you approach the hill. You successfully get up to about 20 feet in front of the slope of the hill.
Okay. At this point, do I get a better sense of these black rocks? Can I see them better?
Yes. So
I turn around. I assume nobody followed me, so I turn around and I kind of shrug, like, seems okay.
I trudge towards you like an apathetic teenager, and I say, hey, if you're really like worried about traps as much as you say, I might have a solution that could help if you're interested.
Always.
I have my performing chickens with me, and I have a bag of feed. And sometimes I throw feed out in front of me when I'm worried that there's going to be like traps. You know, when I go around borrowing things from people's houses. And so yeah, you can like throw the feed out. The chicken walks ahead. You know, it's a good way to catch anything that might be in the path.
All right, that sounds like a great idea. How much feed do you have on you?
I bought a gold's worth, so I have a bunch. with copper and silver.
Okay. So I'll get some of that in just a second once we figure out what's going on with these black rocks.
This is immediately going differently than I thought. I love it.
You're welcome. Welcome to my world, Chris.
All right.
Detect magic. I feel like I could maybe see something. We're just at the entrance, right? There's probably something magical here.
We don't even know if we're at the entrance. We could be at some random hill.
It's true. Carry away.
Yeah, the only spell I have is find traps, but it doesn't tell you where they are. Yeah.
It's line of sight, right? I have
Yeah,
it too.
line of sight.
Oh, if you have it, one of us can swap it out. If you want to try something else there, I'm fine with my level 2 spells, but I do have find traps.
Cool. What's the deal with the black rocks?
Okay, so yeah, you can see, it looks, from your vantage point, you see about a dozen black rocks, and they're arranged closer to you on the side of the hill that you're facing, and they're arranged. It kind of looks like they're in a little bit of a semicircle. It's a little irregular. It's not perfect, but. And then as you kind of look up the slope of the hill, you see that there might be a few more rocks past that initial semicircle.
Can I see where the semicircle would be centered?
It is if you're facing the hill, the side that you're facing, the sort of arc, the semicircle is centered. They're all centered like roughly in the middle of the hill.
Okay.
On the side you're facing.
But like the curve is towards us, not away from us.
The nearest
it's like a U
point
instead of a.
The bottom of the U is facing you,
Right.
and then the topward, like curving up portions kind of go up towards the top of the hill.
Okay, and how far are we from the nearest black rock?
They're about the semicircle looks like it's about 20 feet up the hill.
Okay, so another 40 feet of movement or so.
Yes.
Okay, and then how far to the ones that are further up the hill?
They look like they're pretty close. It seems like all of these rocks are concentrated within about 60 feet of each other.
Interesting.
They're localized to like a part of the hill. They're not just spread all over the entire hill.
Tal and Diaz, have you followed us, or are you still back at the initial point?
No.
I was following you.
Yeah. I followed. Sorry, I didn't mention that, but I went ahead and followed as well.
Okay. Should we throw feed and try and get to the Black Rocks?
Yes.
I mean, they're not my chickens.
Yeah, no. I pulled them out. I don't name them. They die a lot. But yeah, here's one, and here's some feed, and yeah, keep leading the way, man.
Cool. So I make a beeline for the nearest rock, right?
Okay, so you're running towards the rock.
No, sorry. I am taking a straight path towards the rock, not running.
Okay.
Right. So the line is straight. And I'm doing my best to keep feed out in front of me and keep the chicken in the 5 to 10 foot range in front of me. And my goal is to get the chicken to jump up on the rock when I get to the rock. I don't know
Okay,
how
but you're not throwing the feed. You're kind of dropping it in front of you.
Well, I have to throw it in order to get it 5 to 10 feet in front of me, right?
Well, yeah, you're not chucking it.
I'm just sort of like I'm sowing it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so.
And the chickens. How are the chickens coming with you? So are you?
Well, the intent is you sort of like throw the feed.
Yeah.
And then the chicken goes ahead, and if nothing bad happens to the chicken, then I follow the chicken, and then I repeat until we get to the rock.
All right, give me an animal handling check to tell me how well you coerce the chickens to sort of follow your lead here.
All right. 13. No, 11. Sorry, I misread.
11. Okay, that's not the worst. So they're kind of walking randomly. They're sort of pecking at the grass, but you get how many chickens are there?
I think
Well, there's 5, but I just handed him one.
Just one. Okay. So
Yes.
it's sort of wandering back and forth, but it's a little uneven, but it notices the feed and it starts pecking in front of you. And nothing seems to happen to it as you start approaching the first black rock.
Okay. Can I use Speak with Small Beasts to try and convince it to jump up on the rock?
I'd have to read the description, but I assume so.
It just says you can communicate simple ideas with small or smaller beasts. I assume the chicken is a small beast.
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Okay. So it was through sounds and gestures, though, so it's not language. It's more like, hey, chicken, jump up on the rock, chicken.
Jump up on the rock. Okay, yeah, I'll allow it.
Chicken's like, why not?
I mean, I guess. I don't know what the chicken's
How
like.
how often do you get that ability? Is it just you just have it? You can do it whenever.
It just says I have it. Yeah, I didn't see it. I can double check, though. I'm still going to use it regardless of even if I only get it like once per week. But
Okay.
I will double check to make sure there's no limit like that.
All right. While you're checking, I will say, yeah, you managed to convince the chicken to jump up on the. Which of the black rocks are you trying to get it on? There's about a dozen in this initial semicircle.
Whichever. So I'm probably the one that is closest to the bottom of the U.
Okay.
Whichever one would have been
So, like-
nearest me when we were standing at the bottom of the hill.
The central one, pretty much.
Sure.
At the center of the U.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You convince the chicken through these odd gestures you're making to jump up on the rock. Chicken jumps up on the rock, and it's sitting there, and it starts looking at you like, okay, now what?
All right. Can I investigate the rock?
Sure. Give me an investigation check. And what are you looking for in particular? Just anything that
I have
stands
no
out?
idea.
Or?
Actually, yeah, just like I think that these rocks must be in some way related to the tomb, and so I'm hoping to find either like a script or a mechanical device that I can actuate in some way connected with this rock.
Okay.
So I'll be examining the rock and like maybe just the immediate ground around the rock.
And so you're circling the rock as you're walking?
No, I would like to stay outside of the U.
Okay.
So like I'll lean around the rock as well
Okay.
as I can, but like I don't want to. I'm afraid of getting inside the semicircle.
Okay, but you're not touching the rock.
No, I would
In order
touch
to
the rock
investigate.
on my side of it,
Okay.
right? Because my assumption is that the chicken jumped up on it. It must be safe to touch.
Okay. All right, give me an investigation check.
Oh, that's a D12, not a D20. Well, I'm having a rough time with my rolls today.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
19 investigation.
That's pretty good.
It helps to be double proficient in the thing that you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say that you don't notice anything special about the rock. It just seems nothing's catching your eye, at least. And
Okay.
when you touch the rock, you don't notice anything. It feels like it's been, or nothing happens to you. It feels like it's been smoothed a bit. It's not a totally natural rock, but it, from your background as an academic, I'll say it seems like it's some sort of igneous rock. Like it's been placed here intentionally. This is not natural.
Okay.
For this kind of terrain. It's definitely been placed here intentionally. And it seems like it's been here for a really long time.
Okay, I have a few questions, Chris.
Yep.
Is this more or less the rock formation we're looking at?
From your perspective, turn that upside down.
So this U's towards us,
Yes.
and then you're saying
And
that
then there's a few more rocks. Yeah.
like up
Kind
there.
of in that area. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, Francis, since you're the closest, give me a perception check.
Okay.
do we know that this bottom U is complete?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay, how many is this?
There's about a dozen in the U.
About 12. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perception 19.
Okay, so you notice.
Oh no. Perception 22.
Okay, even better. You notice that the rocks, as you turn your attention away from this initial U and you start to look up at the the rocks that are a little further up ahead. There's a lot fewer rocks up ahead.
Mhm.
And you notice with that high of a perception roll that these rocks are all definitely forming a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And appears to be in the shape of sort of a very rough skull. So you have, it looks to you like the U is probably the mouth. And then you
Okay.
also have a few rocks forming like a nose hole, and then two groupings up at the top forming a set of eyes.
Mm. I'd like to communicate that with the group. Like, holy shit! I think this is a skull.
Like a smiley face?
It is a little. It does look a little bit like a smiley face, maybe an evil smile. But yes, it gives you the impression from the way the nose is shaped and the way the eyes are shaped that it's not just a happy smiley face. It's
a happy smiley face.
It's meant to be a skull.
Right.
I inform Orin that sometimes the response to abstract art is to see what you want to see. Just saying.
Or someone intentionally.
Orin as an academic picks up on that slight jab. Uh-huh.
Look how terrifying it is, everyone. Look at this skull.
It is scary, man. I would like to walk around the formation to the left.
Okay.
And doing like a big circle, like centered on the nose. I'd like to aim for the skull's forehead, but like staying like pretty well clear of the formation.
Okay.
I want to get all the way around on the other side of the eyes and try and look down and see if I see anything.
Okay, so you want to get sort of opposite to where you are now on the top end.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but by going around.
Okay. You walk around, and you're looking down towards the rest of your party,
Mhm.
and you don't notice anything different. It's just you get a different perspective, and yeah, this is definitely supposed to be an image of a skull, kind of like a jack-o'-lantern kind of look.
How far up the hill am I?
You're let's see. So the skull, you're probably about 120 yards up the slope. It looks like the skull is sort of it's placed on the sloping side that's facing towards where your party started. It's not
Right.
all the way up at the top of the hill.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems like it's intended to be seen by people.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's a reasonable assumption.
Does anyone else want to climb the hill?
Francis, I assume you left my chicken where it was.
Yeah.
So your chicken has hopped off the rock by this point, and it's just sort of pecking around where the feed was.
Okay, I would like to toss some more feed into the center of the skull to coerce it onto the other side of the rocks.
Okay. Where are you standing right now?
I met him near where he left, like near the chicken near the rock.
Okay, so you're all right. So how far into the
In order to be snarky towards to him. Yeah.
So you're just trying to get the feed kind of into the direct center of where the skull is.
Yeah.
Around by the nose. Okay. You throw the chicken feed in there.
Yeah.
The chicken it kind of hops down and it starts walking in that direction. It hasn't gotten to the feed yet, but it's sort of wandering. Nothing's happened to it yet.
Mm-hmm.
How barren is the vegetation?
Bye. If you get fried, we'll eat you.
Mhm.
It's just weeds and some thorns on the hill. There's really no other living vegetation.
So if I were to say put a small ball bearing on the hill, would it roll down?
I mean, you're not 100% sure it would roll some distance. You don't know if it would go all the way down to the bottom or if it would get caught on there's some uneven terrain, some rocks.
All right, so I have 3 bags of 1,000 ball bearings each.
Just in case.
What's the investigative?
So the I intended them to be for like finding invisible bridges and stuff.
Okay.
Right? They're like so the tool is intended in the player's handbook to be something you could like throw out when you're being chased, and then people have to make a check. But like my intention for them was to like, I think there's an invisible bridge here. Let me sort of like throw these ball bearings out and see where they roll and figure out where these invisible bridges are. I'd like to take a handful out of one of the bags, which will turn it into a bag of not 1,000 ball bearings. So I won't be able to use it for laying a trap anymore. But I'd like to sort of cast out a handful of ball bearings and watch them bounce down the hill as far as they will or will not go and see what happens.
Make a roll a d20. Give me a dexterity check to see how well you throw the ball bearings.
Right.
Derek, what's your character's name again?
Tal. Tal.
14.
Okay. Yeah, you throw them pretty well. They roll through the center of the hill. By this point, the chicken has made it to the group of rocks that seems to be forming the nose, and it's pecking at the feed. Nothing's happened to it yet. And the ball bearings, one of them does roll all the way down to the bottom semicircle, the U of rocks where the mouth is. And and a couple of others, the other ones stop at some point along the way.
I'm guessing a handful of ball bearings is like 50, give or take.
Sure.
Okay.
You see at least one make it all the way down successfully. The rest kind of scatter and end up stopping someplace. It's hard to keep track of all of them.
Right. Yeah. I sort of look at everyone else and shrug, like, should we go up to the top of the hill?
Yeah, I vote for that.
Yeah.
All right. Are you all going to join me up here?
Yes.
Up top of the hill? Yeah.
Yeah. And are you going to walk through the formation or around it?
I will walk through it.
I'll walk around it.
I will walk around it. Oh, no, I'll walk through it to pick up my chicken on the way.
Cool.
Okay. Those of you walking through it get to the top a little faster to meet Orin, but nothing seems to happen.
So what's at the top of the hill? What do my elf eyes see? Wait, no. What do your elf eyes see? Yes?
Yeah, what do I see?
So as you get to the top of the hill, you can see that. So you guys started on the south side.
Mhm.
And as you get to the top of the hill, you can see where the north end of the hill is. It has sort of a more drastic drop off. It's not perfectly round. The north end of the hill just seems to kind of stop it's sort of like a cliff, but it's not tall enough to really be considered that. And it just kind of drops straight down. But you can't see from where you're standing like what that face looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe to navigate? Like, do we think? So we can't see the face at all. So we just see
not from your vantage point. You can just see from standing like at the top of the hill. You know,
Mhm.
you're not all the way to the edge. You could go to the edge and then look down.
Okay. I'd like to do that. I don't know if anyone else would.
Yeah, I'll join you.
All right. So you make it towards. You walk along the top of the hill. You get to the north side, and you look down. And you kind of have to tilt your head a little bit, but you can see that the north side of the hill it's sort of this crumbling cliff of sand and gravel. And there's the sand and gravel go up about 20 feet on that side of the hill. The whole hill is about 20 feet tall, but you can kind of, this face of the hill is, and this side is noticeably different than the other portions that you've been able to see. Everything else is kind of the smooth slope, and this is sort of the straight drop.
Is it like carved out of the rest of the hill, or is it like they chopped off a piece of cake and scraped it off the rest of the ground?
Give me a nature check.
Pretty sure that's gonna go poorly. It's nature, wisdom, intelligence. It is intelligence. 6. I was more looking at like the shape. Like I meant like, is there like a gentle slope around this like steep area, or is it like the only way to get down would be to go all the way down the hill and then like circumnavigate the hill?
The steep area sort of encompasses sort of that entire north side of the hill.
Okay.
So you could pretty easily go down the sides and then come around to look and see it.
Okay.
But it's about a 60-foot drop, just kind of if you just jumped off the edge.
Okay. Shall we walk around, or I've got silk rope if somebody wants to lower me down.
I have a quick question about the skull on the other side, on the south side. Was it incomplete? Like, was like where you could put rocks where one eye was missing rocks? You know what I mean?
Can we
No.
move around? Is what you're thinking?
No, I mean it looked even. Both eyes had the same number of rocks, and the nose looked complete on both sides, and there weren't any gaps in the mouth.
Okay,
So it looked complete,
got it. Okay.
as far as you can tell.
My strength's pretty low, so I don't think I should be the one lowering you down if we're trying that.
We could just walk around. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Shall
right.
we?
Yeah.
All right. Let's walk around and try and get a look at the front of this hill face.
All right, so you're facing.
I'm kind of excited at this point. I'm no longer as eagerly looking around for traps. I really want to get down to the bottom of this hill. I'm not running, but I'm not being careful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I'm following him. I don't know the dangers of this place really yet.
Okay, and then you make it around to so you're facing this north side, and where are you all standing? Or are you just all sort of standing in the center?
Yeah, like 10 or 20 feet off, so we can get like a view.
Okay.
That's where I am.
So like I mentioned before, like this face of the hill, it's noticeably different than the other sides, and it's about 200 yards wide. And the first 20 feet up from the ground are sand and gravel, as opposed to, some dead grass and the different vegetation that you sort of saw or dead vegetation you saw on the other sides. And that 20-foot section seems to go all the way along that face of the hill.
Oh, and what's the section between that top of that 20-foot section and the top of the hill?
Nothing really notable. It just it's this overhang with some shrubs and bushes that obscure it a little bit, but it's not. It just sort of overhangs, and then it's a very steep drop off.
There's got to be a door here somewhere. He says out loud.
I was thinking that it was like the skull wasn't complete. Like if you completed it, it would form the shape. It would form a portal or some shit.
Yeah.
Was my thinking.
Or there's like a. I was thinking it was a warning.
It's a good bet.
Like fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna cast detect magic. I think it's just a one spell, so it's fine. I don't have to make a roll for that, right? Like I just kind of have to point in an area.
Yeah. What's the range?
Check.
I think it's.
Do we have a particular area? I mean, I know I can walk around, but is there a particular area first that we want to see if we suspect there's any type of magical anything?
It feels like the two candidates are this cliff face and those rocks.
Whatever we're closer to, I guess, then is 30 feet
I
in.
think we're closer to the cliff face now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. For the duration, I sense the presence within 30 feet of me.
Okay, so you're standing about in the center, and you're about 20 feet away, so that's enough to get the cliff face, and you can't cover the entire cliff face with the detect magic, but within the area that you can cover, you're not detecting any magic.
Okay. Walk back to the other.
What is the duration?
10 minutes. So I will spend the time walking around, like.
And we'll follow you.
Yeah, like if we don't figure it out from here while you still look around, like I will just spiral around while it occurs, I guess. Just in case.
So you're walking around the entire hill?
I will, but first I'm going to go to the second point of interest that we were looking at.
The rocks?
Yeah, the rocks.
Okay.
Is there
All right,
anything?
you're not detecting any magic by the rocks.
So now is when I'm going to start like spiraling outward, I think, if you guys want to try to figure it out. But I just, as this 10 minutes is up, like just in case there's anything.
While Tal's doing that, I want to go up to the cliff face and investigate it.
Okay, right in the center, or
Yeah.
on one
Well,
end.
I'll start in the center. I mean, there's no features that like are worth calling out. So yeah, right in the center seems as good as any place else.
Okay. How are you investigating it?
I'm gonna start by like walking up to it. I'll probably kick at the sand and gravel, but I'm not really super enthused about the idea of trying to climb up this sand and gravel.
Mhm.
So, I'll probably wind up pacing the face, looking for things. But like, my goal is to find something worth talking about. Like, is there a baton hammered into the face somewhere? Is there a crack that looks like it might hold a secret door? That's what a good roll is. I just rolled a 31 on investigation, 32 on investigation.
32 on investigation.
Is that with the 20?
Yeah.
Plus 12?
Yeah, that's a nat 20 plus 12.
Oh.
All right, and you're walking along this entire face.
Yeah, I'm trying to find anything interesting to talk about on this cliff face.
Okay. You don't find any landmarks or anything like that. In the course of kind of kicking at some of the gravel and seeing it, you'll kick at some of the gravel, it will sort of fall off. It looks like you might be able to get through this and dig towards towards whatever's underneath the hill, but you'd need some bigger tools. Like doing it with just your hands probably would take a really long time.
A shovel is one of the things I chose not to buy.
Mhm.
How long does it take to shovel with your hands? Like if you were to.
You could start and see how long it takes to clear out a little bit of an area.
Yeah, I was thinking I would start in the center.
Okay.
And my goal would be to sort of just clear enough of the so presumably there's like a face and then there's sand up against the face. And so my goal is to get down to like bedrock or ground in like a 5 foot wide strip in the center.
Okay.
But it's probably going to start like in a much narrower strip and then I'll widen it out.
Okay, you start doing that. That's taking you a while because you're just digging with your hands.
Yeah, I've got a crowbar.
By this point, Derek has, or excuse me, I gotta learn your character names. Tal. Okay.
Yeah.
Tal has completed his spiral around the hill, and he's looked at the rocks, and he's walked all the way around the hill, and he hasn't detected any magic. And at this point, 10 minutes have elapsed. Oren, you're continuing to dig. Is anybody else doing anything?
I suggest whether I should just shoot lightning arrow at it.
Everyone else is just watching me have a meltdown.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just watching it happen. My belief, if I had any at all to begin with, has completely left at this point.
I'm interested in the lack of vegetation and that type of stuff. So I don't know, like walking around what I would be looking at specifically, but it would be with an interest in that, like seeing why it's like that, like as a druid that said.
All right. So you're looking around at the vegetation.
Or lack of, yeah.
Okay. Nothing really stands out to you other than the fact that it's pretty barren, and this hill is noticeably more barren than the surrounding landscape. And I will say, after Oren spends about 20 minutes digging through with his hands,
his hair is like starting to get disheveled at this point. Like,
yeah. So, and you're digging in the center?
Yeah, my goal is just to like find ground, figure out how deep this sand goes.
Okay. You spend about 20 minutes, you're just digging furiously. You're starting to get frustrated, like, what are we even doing? This makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put your hand through and you start to feel empty space on the other side. You feel like this might be some kind of entrance.
I shout that I found a gap.
Pull your hand back.
I shout that I found something. I call everyone over to me.
We all come hustling.
Yes.
I cancel my Uber.
He just got there, though. Come on.
So
Cancel
I
in his face.
explain that I think behind this sand here is some empty space. And I like encourage somebody to try and like put their hand through and like feel what I felt.
I'll go ahead and push like a crowbar through, like feel if it's like loose or not.
Yeah, you feel you're able to push the crowbar through. You reach a point where you're not, hitting any resistance, and you kind of brush it back and forth along the sides of the opening that Oren's been able to make, and you're able to knock a little bit more gravel loose.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to create an opening into something. You're just not sure what.
Cool. Nice job, everyone. By
Anyone
everyone,
know any spells that call up a bunch of wind or shape a bunch of earth or?
we're not earthbenders or airbenders, unfortunately. I was thinking.
No, I just have a Pikachu spell. It's Thunder Wave.
It's a good spell.
I was thinking of putting a torch like through the opening and like dropping it, just to see if we can get some
But we
illumination.
can't see anything, right? But we haven't managed to actually unearth the opening yet, have we?
Can a torch go through?
You could fit a torch through the space. You wouldn't be able to crawl through. I mean, you could go up and look into it and see what you see, or you can throw a torch through.
Oh, so we have actually managed to like make a hole. Okay.
You have managed to make a hole, and you could try to throw a torch through. You're not sure how far it would go. You can't see. You could try to peer in. It's not big enough for you to crawl into.
I'd like to peer in with my dark vision.
Okay.
If you wanted to crawl through the hole, though, I could polymorph you into a beetle or something.
Excuse
I
me?
will keep that in mind.
Okay. You peek through the hole. And you can't see very far in. You're not letting a lot of daylight in.
Mhm.
But
Just
You're
60
able to-
feet.
you're able to see, I'll say, the first couple of feet of what would be the floor, and it looks like you can't tell color, but it looks like mosaic tiles of some sort.
All right, I guess more digging by hand. I'm like poring over my stuff to see if there's anything useful I can use.
I got a hammer and batons.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. All right, digging by hand. You spend about another 10 minutes, and you're able to, all working together, create a large enough space could be a crawl space for one of you at a time to get through.
Okay.
And you're letting a little bit more light in. So you think you may be able to get a better view if you put your head back.
All right, I rush to like be the first person to see the Tomb of Horrors.
Okay.
I was gonna offer, but okay.
All right.
This is a character moment.
I know.
As you stick your head close to the hole and peer through, here's what you see. Bright, brilliant colors are to be seen everywhere, at least in the first couple of feet where you're letting daylight in. The stones and pigments appear to be undimmed by the passage of decades. The floor of the corridor is a colorful mosaic of stone with a distinct winding path of red tiles about 2 feet wide, snaking its way south down the corridor. No stonework can be seen on the walls or on the ceiling 20 feet above. Some sort of cement or plaster has been smoothed over all of those surfaces, and then it's been illustrated. The scenes show fields with different animals grazing, a corpse with several wolves in the background, workers of various races, and strange human-animal mixtures. Pig human, ape human, dog human, and they're going about various daily tasks, it seems. Certain of the frescoes show rooms of some building, a library filled with many books and scrolls, the door of a torture chamber, a wizard's workroom, and there are chairs, windows, boxes, bales, doors, chests, birds, bats, spiders, and all manner of things shown on the walls. There are these very detailed frescoes that seem to go down as far as you can see. And it looks like some of the frescoes are depicting just daily life with these strange human-animal mixtures. And then some of the portions of the frescoes appear to be depicting rooms or spaces within some sort of building.
Are these human animal hybrids, are they like close to something like werewolves or something along those lines, or is it very unnatural, like especially for a druid, like looking at this?
To you it would be grotesque. This is not like any creatures you've probably encountered before. These don't appear to be, obviously, they're strange mixtures of human and some other animal race.
Okay.
But it's not something
Never mind. Go ahead.
It's not like a centaur or something that you would recognize as like, oh, I know what those are. It's just they're very odd looking. It's disturbing.
All
A
right.
dog with long blonde hair.
So why is that always the I've never even seen an episode, but like I know what that is. But yeah, that sounds like the type of disturbed that I am. Like, about someone who just found out about what that episode is. That type of.
So at this point, Orin is convinced that he's finally found the Tomb of Horrors, and he is all but dancing outside on this like slope of gravel and sand, just like full on Tom Cruise over Katie Holmes, if anybody remembers that interview, like jumping around, just like yes, absolutely. I have a piece of parchment and a quill and some ink, and I would like to record as many of the frescoes as I can through I have a lot of parchment. I have 50 sheets of parchment. I'd like to record as many of the frescoes as I can with my head through the hole.
Okay.
How much parchment would you like me to use?
You're trying to get. You have 50 sheets.
Yeah.
I'll say you could do rough sketches and take 3 sheets.
Okay.
So are you inside now, or are you just like still looking through with your head in the hole?
I'm just like looking in, writing something down, jumping around, looking in, writing something down. I haven't I assume there's like a drop. I assume we're at like the top, and we would need to jump in, or.
I was picturing that you've dug it out like kind of in the middle of the 20-foot height. You've like kind of created a hole to look through.
Okay.
And you're. It's about big enough that one of you could kind of crawl through, but you haven't said that you're doing that yet. And
right.
The corridor in front of you looks about. It doesn't appear to like slope down. There's not a grade. It just appears to go straight in.
And is it so? How wide is the corridor?
It's 10 feet wide.
And so
Or,
there's
excuse me. No, sorry, 20 feet wide. Excuse me.
And you said there's like a red path.
Yeah, there's this snaking path that's very distinctive in the tiles. It's this set of red tiles that creates this snaking path
Interesting.
along the floor.
How big is that? Like, how wide is that? Like, could I walk on it?
It's about 2 feet wide. It's wide. You could walk on it.
Okay.
Can I roll a sleight of hand and see if I can sneakily draw a penis on one of his illustrations as he's doing this?
Yes, and then I would like to have Orin contest that with a perception check.
I would like to take disadvantage on that perception check.
You may do that
because I'm so like my in my head what happened is I like sort of scribbled out the first one and then I just set it down next to me, and that's where River is going to come up and draw a penis on.
Are you drawing the penises on? Are you drawing the penises on the ones he's already set aside, or the one that he's currently working?
Oh yeah, the ones he's already set aside. I am making a mockery of this experience for him.
Okay.
Is this like going to be obvious, or is it like part of one of the sketches that he won't notice until he sees it?
It'll go where it doesn't belong. Like I want to put it like if he's drawing like a pig person, I'm gonna draw the dick on top of the pig person's head.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with disadvantage, I rolled a 21 perception.
Damn.
Jesus.
Okay. I rolled a 17, but I have a +7 in sleight of hand.
All right, you, Orin, out of the corner of your eye, you think you see him maybe fiddling with your papers, but he must have just been looking at it because they're so interesting looking. You don't notice.
I mean, they are. They're very interesting. This is. I mean, this is going to upend the entire world of what's the name of the culture? Netherese studies.
Yeah. Seems legit. All right, so you take time to do these sketches.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you all like to do at this point?
Well, it's 5:02.
Yes.
You want us to? You want us to answer that before we leave for the day?
We can stop here if you want.
Just like ponder, what do we do? Because we could still just leave. Like, Francis takes these sketches with the penis on them, sends them back to the academy.
Guys, let's send an expedition team,
Yeah.
like a proper one.
Yeah. And-
No, wait. Nobody will look at my sketches unless I have better proof than this. This is just the beginning of the body of proof I'm trying to build. I need to document the Demi-Lich. I'm not leaving here until I've documented the Demi-Lich.
Okay, fair enough.
I just imagining like him at the last stage going like, "I've done it," and there's just like a sword through his chest. Like, he was like, "I got it."
Don't get too attached to that vision because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it. I do have a question. How do you want to mediate inspiration? I was unclear on the rules behind inspiration.
You mean as far as me giving the DM giving out inspiration?
Yeah, it seemed like kind of a general purpose thing that like you could just give out whenever you wanted. And if that's the case, what kind of behavior would you like to encourage?
Right. Something that is very in keeping with your character.
Okay.
Is probably what I'd be most interested in, or something clever and unexpected. I don't know. We can.
All right.
Well,
I'll have this for unexpected. Guys, I think we need to go to a library.
I think you're right.
Oh,
There's definitely libraries in here. There's no way there isn't. But
Yeah.
you
There's a
know,
library on one of the frescoes, which I thought was a nice touch, by the way, Chris. I don't know if that was you or if that was part of the story, part of the setting. It was a nice touch. There's a library on the fresco.
that's fortuitous. That's in the original description.
Just take credit.
Yeah. I am Gary Gygax. all in one.
also, Francis, you know, the bard mechanic has inspiration as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that's probably like
Yeah.
we'll probably get that just from Paul.
Yeah, but like also I read that the DM can kind of give out inspiration, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, seems like a way for the DM to basically encourage whatever kind of behavior they want to encourage. So I wanted to ask Chris what kind of behavior he wanted to encourage.
Word.
I will, to that end, thank you for the reminder. I will give one inspiration die to Francis for being very in character and stopping and making you guys all wait while he drew those sketches. And then also one inspiration die to Paul for successfully drawing penises.
Damn.
Seems
I
fair.
love the idea that every time River draws a dick on one of my notes, he gets inspiration.
I may get a little bored with that.
Well, rule of three. Comedy comes in threes.
yeah.
This was so much fun, Chris. I had a fantastic time.
Yeah, man.
I hope everyone else is having as much fun as I am.
Yeah, dude, this is great. I'm drawing a lot of weird sketches. So I'm having a good time.
You have found the entrance. to
Francis,
the
how do you spell your character's name?
ORRYN.
Oh.
But I definitely am thinking of Orin from Parks and Rec.
Ah.
And I, of course, chose Garrick because of the Cardassian Garrick.
Spelled differently, though, no?
Both are spelled very differently.
Hmm.
But I was looking at the list of names in the player's handbook, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a clan name that kind of sounds like Garrick," and "Ooh, that's a first name that kind of reminds me of the guy Orin." All right,
All right.
I guess I'll see y'all next week.